What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my DFS PGA picks for the Travelers Championship. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another PGA DFS picks video. This time we are at the Travelers Championship, coming off of a decent week last week. Webb Simpson won, as we know. He was in my player pool. Like I said, my goal is to have every single week the winner of the tournament in my player pool, so that was nice. I had about 20% Webb Simpson. Wish I would have won 2 weeks ago when I had about 30% of them, but can't complain there. The first day I was kind of breaking even. The second and third day I was winning over $1,000 each of those days. At one point I was first place in the 50 cent mini max, winning $4,000 at the end of the second day. So I was sitting there looking at that. Didn't think it would hold because there is a lot of golf left to go after that second day. But on the fourth day it seemed like the worst possible scenario happened. It seemed like everybody was kind of off on the fourth day, but still was able to get a nice, decent profit. A lot of the guys in the Discord were able to make some nice profits. Somebody even won $4,000, something like that, in Discord. So that made me happy. That's my goal, to make you guys money. So that was pretty cool to see. But before we get started with the video and get into my plays, if you guys can like this video, also subscribe if you haven't yet. Really appreciate that. Almost to 3,000 subs. So if we can get there by hopefully next week, that'd be awesome. But first, we will start with the course info here. So the course info, we're going to be at TCP River Highlands. It is a par 70, 6,891 yards. It is a shorter course. You got 4 par 3s, 12 par 4s, and 2 par 5s, and I believe it's top 65 players make the cut. Some key stats we're going to be looking at is par 4 average, strokes gained off the tee, strokes on approach. Strokes gained on approach, birdie or better percentage, ball striking, and current form since the return of PGA is something I'm looking at as well. We want to know who has been hot or who has been not since they have returned from the layoff. But yeah, let's get into the 10K and up range. Honestly, I think everybody could be in play in the 10K and up range, but these are my favorite 3 here. And honestly, I do think there's so much value in the 8,000 range and the 7,000 range that you don't necessarily have to go up here all that much. But I'm going to give you guys my top 20 golfers. Typically in my player pool, I end with about 25 towards the end of the week. Everybody on Patreon will, get to see those, and I'll put a little write-up on, why I want those golfers. I'll also do a core plays article as well. But 10K and up, Rory McIlroy, 11,200, has not been doing the best the past 2 weeks. I mean, to Rory's standards, he's been doing fine, but for Rory, you're expecting a top 5 every time at least. But Rory's finished 17th and 12th here the last 2 years. He hasn't been too impressive so far since the return of PGA, but he's always in play. He has an average finish of 11.8 in 8 tournaments this season, and he's amazing stat fit anywhere he goes. Rory's always in play no matter what. Probably be lower ownership since he hasn't been, all that amazing so far this year. So I think he's always in play. I'll definitely have some Rory. Bryson finishes of 8, 9, 26, and 47 here. Average finish of 4.4 in his last 5 tournaments, which is absolutely incredible. It's the best on the whole slate. He is 2nd in strokes gained off the tee, 7th in par 4 average, 3rd in bogey avoidance, and 10th in birdie or better percentage. So I like Bryson quite a bit. They did up his price slightly, but he did fine last week. Had a lot of Bryson last week. I thought he was going to do a little bit better, but he had a good finish last week, and hopefully he does it again this week. I'll have some Bryson. Like I said, I don't love this range too much because there is so much value in the 8,000 range, but if I go up here, I'll definitely be playing some Bryson. Justin Thomas, 10,800. He has been very good since PGA has returned with finishes of 10 and 8. Not the best course history here, but he did finish 3rd a few years ago. Justin Thomas is one of those guys that when he's hot, he's hot. We saw him, I think it was either the 3rd or 4th day. He had a crazy, crazy round. Ended up getting, in first place at one point. And he's always capable of doing that. So for 10,800, it is definitely a GPP play. If he does get on, if he is hot, he'll definitely have a good finish there. So definitely worth taking some shots on Justin Thomas at 10,800. All right, the 9K range. This is a 9K range that I like quite a bit. We will start with Patrick Cantlay. Finished 15th here twice in a row. Average finish of 14.8 in his last 5 tournaments this season. He has not played since the layoff, so although Cantlay is a good play on paper here, it's hard to put too much stock in him. because he has not played, so we don't know what he's going to look like after this layoff. But he's a great stat fit for this course, and he should be a good play if he isn't rusty. So I will have some Cantlay. I think is a good play. It's just I'm not going to go too much on him because I want to see what he's like with this layoff. Abraham Answer, 9,000. He has been playing lights out since the return of PGA, and even all year he's been fantastic. Finishes of 2nd and 14th the last 2 weeks, and an average finish of 22 in his last 10 tournaments this season. And he did finish 8th at the tournament last year. Yeah, they're going to keep upping his price. He's been playing fantastic. Had a little bit of him. I had about 10% of him last week. He finished 2nd. I wish I would have had more. The week before that, I had a lot of Answer. And I'm playing him here again. I think he's a great play here. He's been playing fantastic. I think he's going to keep it up at 9,000. I think would like it to be lower, but you can't complain with that price with how well he's been playing. Justin Rose, 9,200. Finishes of 13th and 9 here. Started the season off awful. Seemed to have got it together now with finishes of 13 and 3 since the return to PGA. Could be a really good play if he does build off those last 2 performances. He's finally getting it together. Like I said, he had that awful start. DraftKings dropped his price quite a bit. He's now back up to 9,200. So I think it's a fine play. He's definitely doing better than he did at the start of the season. Colin Morikawa, 9,100. I love this play a lot. They even dropped his price for us, 9,100. First of all, he's way too cheap for how he's been playing. I know he didn't have the best tournament last week. He was a little up and down last week. Ended up finishing like 60th, but he did make that cut. He did look good at times. He just struggled in that 4th round. But average finish of 28.6 in his last 5 tournaments this season. He is 1st in strokes gained on approach, 22nd in birdie or better percentage, and has made 12 out of 12 cuts this year. And that's 23 straight cuts made between this year and last year. So I think it's a great cash play. I think it's a GPP play as well with some upside. So I like Colin Morikawa quite a bit, especially at that price. All right, now we will get into the 8K range. Honestly, this is my favorite range of the whole slate. I feel like I can make a whole lineup with guys in this range. It's absolutely stacked. I feel like just about everybody is in play in this range as well. So we'll start with Paul Casey. He has not played yet since the return of PGA, which is worrying. I'm not going to be going all in on Paul Casey. I think he's a great play on paper, but you never know with that layoff. So that kind of worries me a little bit. But he has elite course history, finishes of 5, 2, 5, 17, and 2 here, and he has made 7 out of 7 cuts this season with an average finish of 29, 8,900. Fair price for sure, especially with his course history. If he plays anything like I'm expecting him to, he's going to be a fantastic play. It's just that layoff that we got to look at. So I'm going to have some Casey, but not going to go all in or anything because there is that concern that he hasn't been doing that he could not be doing, that he hasn't been like practicing and whatnot. So there is that concern. Bubba Watson, 8,800. Elite course history, has won here 3 times in the last 10 years. Also has finished 2nd and 4th within that 10-year span. Has made 9 out of 10 cuts this year. Has finished 52nd and 7th since PGA has returned. So he did have that 7th place finish. And he did finish 52nd. He's been looking fine. Just the elite course history. 8,800. I think I'm going to take some shots on Bubba Watson. With winning 3 times in the last 10 years, you got to definitely look at him. Next, we got Gary Woodland, 8,300. He made the cut last week, but he did struggle a little bit last tournament. There were times where he was looking good, but the 3rd and 4th round, I believe, did not have a good 3rd and 4th round. Played very poorly in both those rounds, but had a good 1st and 2nd round there. I do think he's still underpriced at 8,300 for how good of a player Gary Woodland is. He did finish 38th and 20th here, and he has made 9 out of 10 cuts this year. He's 25th in strokes gained off the tee, 6th in strokes gained on approach, and he is 16th in par 4 average. I like Woodland a decent amount, especially at that price. They're going to keep him down here at 8,000s. They'll be playing him all day. Definitely one of my favorite plays. He did struggle last week, so maybe that will take some ownership off of him, but he's a good play. Tony Finau, 8,200. Again, he's way underpriced at 8,200. Finishes of 113, 17, 25, and 25 here. Average finish at 38 in his last 5 tournaments. Is an amazing stat fit. 7th in strokes gained on approach, 28th in bogey avoidance, and 24th in birdie or better percentage. Yeah, I like Finau quite a bit. 8,200, just way too cheap for Finau. He did struggle at times last week, but there's times where he looked really good, like in that 2nd round. He was up there in that top 10. But there's times that he just, got a couple bogeys in a row. I think it ended up finishing pretty decent, like in the 30th range last week. He did fine, but I did expect him to do a little bit better. But you cannot complain at all for the price he's at. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 8,100. I love the price of 8,100. He's been playing great since the return of PGA with finishes of 14 and 32, and he has made 10 out of 10 cuts this season. Average finish of 24.4 in his last 5 tournaments. Fitzpatrick, 8,100. I love it a lot. He's been playing so well, and I love that price quite a bit. All right, now we will go to the 7K range here, and I like this range quite a bit as well. You got Joaquin Niemann, 7,900. He has been playing very well since the return of PGA with finishes of 5 and 32. Finished 5th at this course last year. Solid everywhere besides putting, and he is 94th in strokes gained putting. But if he comes and he gets his putter going, Joaquin Niemann has a lot of upside at 7,900. I think he's a very good GPP play. Ian Poulter, 7,800, a guy I played a lot of last week, ended up doing very well. He's been playing amazing this season. He has yet to miss a cut and has an average finish of 21 this year. No course history, but great current form there for Ian Poulter. I think is a fine play at 7,800. Victor Hovland, 7,800. Finished 54th here last year. Finishes of 21 and 23 since PGA has returned. He's been looking very good the past 2 weeks. And I do think there's a lot of upside here at a decent price for Hovland here at 7,800. I like him quite a bit. Joel Dahmen, 7,700. Finished 43rd here last year. Average finish at 18.2 in his last 5 tournaments. Played this year. Solid stats all around. Had a rough 4th round last week, but has been playing fantastic other than that. Yeah, he was in first place at one point in that 3rd round. And then in the 4th round, he played absolutely awful. He went like +4 in the 4th round, which was one of the worst with everybody playing in that 4th round. It was very disappointing because I had a lot of Dahmen, but like I said, he was doing very good those first 3 rounds. If he would have kept it together, he probably could have had a very good finish there. Scotty Scheffler, 7,600. He withdrew last week. I believe he's playing this week, and if he is, he's a high upside play at a great price. He's a great birdie maker and GPP play. He has no course history, but his stats are very, very solid, and he's a nice upside play if he can get hot here at 7,600. I like that quite a bit. 7,600 as well. You got Brian Harman. He has made 7 out of 8 cuts this year, finished 8th and 6th here the last 2 years. So great course history. He has finished 28 and 23. Since PGA has returned, so he's been looking good, and he has made 12 out of 14 cuts this season. I like that price of Harman. I'm going to be having a decent amount of Harman there. All right, and now we will go to the punt range here. Matthew NeSmith, 6,600. At one point, he was like top 5, which was awesome. At one point, he was like first place in that 1st round. He was doing very good all tournament. He had a very bad 3rd round, an awful 3rd round. But other than that, he did very, very good. Round 1, 2, and 4, he did very, very good. Was very surprised with NeSmith there. And at his price, 6,600, I'm going to keep playing him. I like this kid quite a bit. Has been very solid for his price. Was looking amazing last week. But like I said, he had a bad 3rd round. He has made 11 out of 16 cuts this year. And he finished 49th and 33rd since the return of PGA. So he's been pretty good. There's a lot of punts I'm actually looking at in this range. I don't think you have to go deep down in this range, but there's a lot of guys I'm probably going to end up having in my player pool. I'm going to give you guys my best 2 here, but there are some other guys I'm looking at, so I'll put those on Patreon throughout the week. The other one is Mark Hubbard, 6,500, has had a nice return to the season with finishes of 33rd and 43rd, has made 12 out of 16 cuts this year. Decent upside at a cheap price for Mark Hubbard there, so don't mind either of these 2 punts. Like I said, I'm going to be adding a couple more punt plays as well throughout the week. And some low-owned targets, JT Poston, 7,900. Not the best course history, not the best stat fit, but he has been killing it the past 2 weeks. I believe 2 top 10 finishes for Poston. I believe he's going to be low-owned if people look at his course history and all that. Very, very bad course history, but he's been playing really well. So someone I'm looking at there for 7,900. Xander Schauffele, 9,600. I love the price. It's just he looked so bad last week. He barely made the cut in that 2nd round, and then he had an awful, I believe it was awful 3rd round. Just played absolutely awful. He had a good 4th round, but I think he'll be low owned because of that performance last week. He's a decent play here for this week. But Jason Day, 7,500, has not looked anything like Jason Day as of recent, but I think he could be very, very underlooked here. 7,500. He's a very good player, just hasn't been showing it lately. Also, that long layoff as well. Maybe he worked on some things. Maybe he's going to come out here looking really good. Maybe he looks really bad, but 7,500, I'll probably end up putting a little bit of Jason Day in my lineups. John Rahm, 10,200. Probably going to go overlooked here. He's obviously a great play any week. He's always has the ability to do very well. Has not been having the best past 2 weeks of the return for PGA, but he's been decent. He hasn't been awful. Just hasn't shown what he's capable of here yet. So 10,200. I like the price. It's very intriguing. So I will probably have some John Rahm. All right, guys, that's about it. Become a member of my Patreon and receive my full statistical model, my player pool cheat sheet, where I update it throughout the week, adding plays, taking plays away. Core plays article where I give my 5-6 favorite plays of the week, which are going to be my highest owned. Example cash build, which has cashed 2 weeks in a row, very easily last week, and then my lineup percentages, and then my rankings as well, and also projections on there as well. So that's about it, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Also subscribe if you haven't yet. I would really appreciate that, and let's win some money this week.